favorite changes Christopher Nolan makes in the Odyssey is that he kept the focus on Zeus's law. So let's talk about it, and this is your spoiler warning for the Odyssey. So Nolan turns Zeus's law into the moral architecture of civilization itself, and it's also the moral foundation of the entire film. In ancient Greece, Zeus wasn't just the king of the gods, he was also Zeus Zenios, the protector of hospitality. And there was a belief that if a stranger came to your home, you have to feed them, you have to offer them shelter, and only then ask who they are. Because civilization depended on people treating each other with basic dignity. And the Greeks called this xenia. It was the social construct that held society together. But here's what I think Nolan is really asking: what happens when we stop believing that we owe each other anything? When every relationship becomes transactional, when survival matters more than compassion, or when people stop seeing strangers as human beings and start seeing them as obstacles, as threats, as resources. The film's most devastating scene is Odysseus' confession to Penelope when he said, "We left them a gift, an offering of peace. They took that into their own home, and we basically violated everything that's sacred between people." And that line completely changes the meaning of the Trojan horse because it's no longer a brilliant military strategy. It's the moment that war crosses this moral boundary. Because the Greeks convinced the Trojans to lower their defenses, to trust them, and they turned that trust into a weapon. And after that, Odysseus believes that he shattered the very idea that the strangers can trust one another. Because later he tells Penelope that one man's trick broke Zeus's law forever, and that the breaking of that law spread like a plague. And that's what I find so fascinating because Nolan found a way to incorporate gods into the film without making it too fantastical. Because Zeus or other gods except Athena, they never appeared on the screen, but the law is enough because the gods in this film don't just represent supernatural beings, they represent the values that make the world possible. And that's the real tragedy of Odysseus because he no longer believes that the world can ever work the way it once did. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let's discuss this in the comments.